want to talk about how Trump is laying the groundwork to claim that the 2026 election is stolen and why it matters so much for him. So, Trump has always claimed elections are stolen. In 2012, whenever he was supporting Mitt Romney, as we know, Mitt Romney ended up losing to President Barack Obama, he would go on a Twitter tweeting spree where he would say, "Let's fight like hell and stop this great and disgusting injustice." This election is a total sham. He lost the popular vote, referring to Obama, by a lot and won the election. The phony electoral college made a laughingstock of our nation. We can't let this happen. We must march on Washington and stop this travesty, which sounds a lot like something he would do in the future. And then in 2016, before the election even took place, he would go on to claim that the election would be stolen. The election is absolutely being rigged by dishonest and media pushing crooked Hillary, but also many polling places. Of course, there is large scale voter fraud happening on and before election day. And as I said, this all took place before the 2016 election, which he would go on to win, and then he would claim that that the popular vote was actually rigged against him, and that Democrats were using illegal immigrants to try to win the election, which was a claim based with no proof. And then he would go on to say that the 2020 elections were stolen. As we all know, we were up big, but they're trying to steal the election. I won the election in a landslide. We won because the election was rigged. And as we know, uh, here's a poll: 60% of Trump's tweets from November 4th, 2020 to January 8th, 2021 were tweets trying to undermine the 2020 election and saying that it was fraudulent and that the 2020 election wasn't, that it was rigged and stolen from him, which, as we all know, would lead to January 6th, where Trump would have his supporters storm the Capitol. And now we're in 2026, or sorry, 2020, where now we're in 2026, where Trump once again is claiming that elections are stolen with no basis of proof. The Democrats are at it again. They are trying to steal the governor of California's primary and the mayor of Los Angeles primary away from two great Republican candidates. Which, honestly, this makes no sense because, California is a very blue state. It makes no sense for a Republican candidate to get any large, like a over 50% the vote, or win really too many, besides from local elections in California. And then he also said that the reason for the voter fraud was because of, guess what, mail in ballots. Which is funny because he used a mail in ballot to vote in his most recent election. So, kind of funny. But why does he care about claiming that the 2026 election will be stolen? Why does he care about laying this groundwork? Why does he care so much about losing that he's willing to try to undermine an election? It's because Republicans protect him, or at least MAGA Republicans do, from prison. Whenever, or not, MAGA Republicans protect him, and his power of the presidency protects him. Trump avoided punishment from his felonies because he was elected president in 2024. And because he was president elect, he didn't face any punishment from any 34 of his felonies, or from any punishment for all 34 of his felonies for falsifying business records. And as we know, Trump was great friends with Epstein, best friends with him for 10 years. But Trump is being protected from the people finding out what he really did with Epstein because he controls the Department of Justice, the DOJ. The DOJ and Republicans control Congress. Todd Blanche is protecting Trump by not releasing all of the Epstein files. And the Epstein files that are released are heavily redacted, even though the law that Thomas Massey and Ro Khanna passed didn't allow that. Todd Blanche and formerly Pam Bondi did everything they could to protect Trump. They're Trump loyalists. And Trump is constantly gaining more power. He's expanding executive power and his power in the Republican Party. He's even using the DOJ to do his bidding. He's having the DOJ go against Jean Carroll, who is the woman who sued Trump and won 90 or $85 million because Trump essayed. And yeah, and he is using the DOJ to go against her. We also see Republicans don't care about Trump's inside stock trading, which let me pull up the video.
Well, look, the salary of Congress has been frozen since 2009. When you adjust for inflation, a member of Congress today is making 31% less than they made in that year. It goes down every year. And over time, if you stay on this trajectory, you're going to have less qualified people who are willing to make the extreme sacrifice to run for Congress. And it's just people just make a reasonable decision as a family on whether or not they can come and move to Washington, have a residence here, a residence at home, and do all the things that are required. So the counter argument is, and I have some sympathy. Look, at least let them engage in some stock trading so that they can continue to take care of their family.
So we see that Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, Republican Majority Leader, because he's Speaker, defending insider trading. And Trump is historically the richest president ever, and he is gaining the most out of the presidency. He's increased his net worth. He's doubled it. He's doubled his family's net worth. And he is trading individual stocks more than any other president in history. And he's spending more money on stocks than any president in history. And we see Republicans don't care. And this is also why he cares about primarying out other Republicans. This is why he's getting candidates like Ken Paxton in trying to get them into the Senate, or Julia Letlow. And he's primarying out people like Thomas Massey and Bill Cassidy and John Cornyn because they're not loyal to him enough. He's not sure that these people will protect him from the crimes he's committed. And we're constantly shown how Trump's control over the party is benefiting him. As we saw, Republicans narrowly blocked bid to ban Trump's $1.8 billion slush fund, and they're just hoping that Trump doesn't go through with the slush fund, but they refuse to ban it because Trump will primary out if they do, and we're seeing Trump's power expand in the Republican Party, and he's hoping to also expand his executive power to defend him, and he's hoping that Republicans, whenever Trump is out of office in 2029, will still protect him long after he's out of the presidency. And it's just so crazy that we have a president this corrupt being defended by so many other elected officials. Anyway, this is my first slideshow PowerPoint video I've ever done. Tell me if you like it. Yeah, I'm just testing it out, seeing how it goes. This was just a short slideshow I have. Tell me if you liked it. I think I did alright. I'm gonna try my best to make a better one sometime in the future, but I just wanted to do one and see how the response was on the channel. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Peace out, and yeah.